And good afternoon everybody, and welcome to another wee video. This is like a wee follow-up video from the parking sensor thing, but we've already seen how to make that, and I was just thinking that can we actually use it on a wee cheap scope, or what all can we use it on? The Pico 2000, as we saw, I didn't think it was performing the best with it, but after I've tried it on this other wee scope here, and after that I've discovered that it must have been the way I had it set up. So user error on my part, the Pico 2000, I might have been a bit hard on it. It is a great wee scope for the money. It's an entry level scope from Pico, but it is very powerful. It is still very powerful. From early generation Picos, it is, for the entry level one, very good. And you can attenuate it, and you can put larger voltage inputs in it that it's designed for, and you can still use it for all sorts of component testing. But on the component testing, this is another wee scope that I'll just show you that I have. And I've had this a wee while now. I don't really use it much because the MixSig one that I have is taken over from everything. But for a wee cheap hobby, this is a hobby or learning type scope. It's a DSO150. So there's all sorts of these wee things on the market, and they're very, very cheap for what they do. They're amazing. So I'll just introduce you to that. It's on the laptop screen. There's where to buy it from. £21 and 62p. So very affordable, and even if you only ever use it a couple of times or whatever, I think it's worth the money. And certainly for learning, it's great. Just one thing to point out there, that says assembled DSO150. You do still get it in bits, and you need to sort of put it together yourself. You may see on eBay that wee scope for cheaper, for £15 or £16, but the idea is that it's a learning tool, and you get it in component form, and you have to solve the thing together yourself. And by all means, if you want to do that, that's great. But it is very small, very fiddly, and it might be a wee bit frustrating. Even putting the thing together it's a bit fiddly because it's so small. So there's it there. It's a wee handheld scope. It fits in my hand, and it has multi-function buttons on it. And the only thing about it is you don't get a power supply. So it's 9 volts, 9 volt input. I have found this jack from on an adapter. I think it's off a printer or something, an old printer that I had. But all these sort of adapters, you end up with loads of them kicking about the house or the garage, and if they work, I don't throw them out. This one here actually says on it for office equipment only, so I think it is off a printer or something like that. But one thing I will say is, guys, just read the output there. Okay, read the output there. If that's 12 volts, 18 volts or whatever, don't even consider sticking a laptop charger. It'll maybe boot up once, and that'll be it. Yeah, so 9 volts in input into there. You could probably make a wee jack up and put a PPC battery on it as well if you wished, but lucky enough I had that 9 volt adapter kicking about, and you just flicker on at the bottom, and as you can see, a colour screen for 20 quid. That is pretty amazing to me. So we'll demonstrate that in action with the parking sensor. But this, you could use this for testing other components, any other components, anything that produces a 5 volt or a square wave, or anything that a DVOM can't do. You could use this, and as I say, for the money, it's pretty amazing of what you get. So we'll see it in action here in a wee second. Right, okay, here we are back again. Hopefully we can see that. we're testing parking sensors here, so that beeping in the background is because I'm sitting behind the car here, and I'm in front of one of the other parking sensors, but we're just going to have to bear with that. There's a fan running as well, you can hear, and that's the battery maintaining the car because the ignition is going to be on. For to demonstrate all this, so here's our wee DSO150. We'll flick it on at the bottom. There's a couple of settings at the top of it for AC, DC and ground, and there's a square wave 1 kilohertz output on it too. So we'll just set that there for the moment. So these things here, these buttons have different functions. You have 3 triggers on it, and you press OK. You can set a trigger, and that wee arrow on the side, and then at the top of it you can screw the time over, and you can center the waveform in the screen for yourself. So I'll just demonstrate it. So here's our wee wand. The wee wand's connected to that wire there. So if I put it up, there we go. There's our parking sensor waveform. So I've that highlighted on a volt there, 1 volt. Hopefully you can see that. Have to keep it out of the glare. So that's half a volt. That's 0.2 of a volt. I'll just take it off again. That's the wand off. I'll offer it back up again with my other hand. Oh, and it's a bit high there, so we'll knock her down. Okay. That's 0.1 millisecond there, that's on. 50 microseconds. And nothing there. 0.2 milliseconds. So we'll just keep it on that. If I press that again, the number is not highlighted, so you can screw that over, center it in the screen there. Okay. Triggers, if we go to that, that's normal trigger, single trigger. So it just takes a single capture, so that's not much good using this. Normal, and that's auto. So the auto trigger has it flashing in and out. So the trigger function is pretty crucial to this. And when I saw this, I says to myself, that's a wee bit like what I was seeing on the Pico, and it's maybe something to do with the trigger position that I had on the Pico. Now I must say, the mix sig that I have, that you've seen me using, it sort of has me spoiled a wee bit because it's touchscreen, and because it's touchscreen, you can just adjust it very easily. It takes 2 seconds. You just move things up and down, and you can screw the timepiece up like it's in an instant. Whereas in the Pico, you have to select everything, and then pardon me, you have to select everything and change it as you go along to get a decent waveform, get a waveform that you can see. So as we saw in the last video, the waveform was there, but it was flashing in and out a wee bit like what it's doing here, and this will be DSO. So I'll just go back to norm there, have it running. Oh, that's it running there, and that's that. And other wee function, if you hold that OK button, you can get the get the details up as well. You hold that in, and away it goes again. So that's that wee DSO. So I thought it might be useful for people to see you can make these wee type of tools up. You can make that there for you can make that there for £25, and it'll show you that on the screen. And that wee boy there can, you know, you could probably use it for other component checks as well. So one of the guys asked me in the comments of the video, one of the subscribers, thank you all very much for subscribing, incidentally, and all the comments, which are all very positive, and guys saying that the content was great in the channel and stuff. I've only started doing this YouTube malarkey, so I'm not sure what really is of interest and what isn't. But one of the guys asked, would it work on a Vantage Pro? So because it works in this wee thing, it's bound to work on everything. So we'll show the Vantage Pro, and we'll go back onto the Pico again, and hopefully we'll give the Pico 2000 a better name. So back in a sec. Here we are on the Vantage. We've got our wee wand connected, and we're just piggybacking in these type of leads. If you want to see, I did a video on leads and stuff like that, where to get stuff cheap and good stuff versus bad stuff, so you can check that out. So let me see, we're in our Vantage here. We're going to go into lab scope, 2-channel scope. So whatever set in this will be whatever I used it for the last time. So there's that's currently in channel 2. So we'll take that off and just go into channel 1. So channel 1 displayed and channel 2 is not displayed, so that's fine. It's sitting at 2 volts. We'll give that a go for the moment. Now this scale is going from 0 is at the bottom, and it's going up to 2 volts. So for that type of waveform, that waveforms goes plus and minus. So what we need to do is go into that wee boy there, and we can bring the scale up so that the 0 is in the middle of the screen. So it looks a wee bit more like what we would have on the other scope displays. There we are. Yeah, that's about the middle, isn't it? That'll do fine. So hit node, come out of that. So our wee graphic will go across 2 milliseconds. Yeah, we'll knock it down a wee bit for the moment. And trigger is this wee cross hatch there. So that's that wee cross hatch there. Hit yes on that, and then we can move the trigger. So that's what we're doing there, moving the trigger up and down. I have it over to the left. You can have it over in the middle. But if we want this type of waveform to fill the screen, we'll just stick it over to the left hand side. It'll give us more of a view on it. And you hold it down. You hold it down, scoots away across dead quick, and back. So we'll hit yes for that. In fact, we'll hit no for that, and then come out, and that'll allow us to. So, okay, we're on normal there. Right, that should be alright. So we'll see what we get with that. We'll offer our wee wand up the parking sensor. Car's got the ignition on. You can probably hear the thing beeping in the background, and ooh, look at that there. So that's far too big. So we'll stick her up to 5 volts. Let's see what we'll have there. We can change that 1 millisecond, 2 milliseconds. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not about bad as a visual. You can offer it out and back on again. Take it on to 1 millisecond again. 500 microseconds. Yeah, I think. Or 5. Milliseconds ain't bad. Try it on the 2 again. So yeah, so there it is on the Vantage. I'm just going to adjust the trigger again a wee bit. bring over in the middle. So there we go. That's parking sensor tester on a Vantage Pro. Not bad, pretty easy to set up. Once you've used this, the Vantage Pro, I'm sure anybody who owns one of these, I'm sure knows how to navigate it all right. I'll just bring it up a wee bit. A wee bit more central. So there you go. There's your. That's me with a wand on the sensor. That's me taking it off, taking it back, taking it on again. I know you can't see that in the shot, but I'm just going in and out with it there. And when I hold it on flush, it gets the big signal there. If I have it off at an angle or whatever, it can't. It's not picking it up just the best. So yeah, that's that one. So hope it helps you there on that one. So I'm going to give the PicoScope another go here, and we'll resurrect its good name. All right. Well, here we are on the Pico, Pico 2000 series, entry level Pico, and as I showed before, it was doing this, flashing and getting on. So what I've discovered is it was the trigger position. It wasn't to do with the time base, nothing to do with the voltage level. I've still got it sitting at 5 volts here, and 200 microseconds per division. But what I've discovered is it's where I put the trigger for that type of waveform. So if we go down here, if we look down here, that's like a fine tune for where you put the trigger position, the wee yellow dot there. So I was just putting it arbitrarily on the screen just by clicking it and dragging it over and setting it up and down. But what I've discovered is I need to sort of, it's pretty crucial where the trigger is in this to get a decent waveform. So you can see them leads hanging up in the top right. That's me holding the wand on there. So if I go down the bottom here, and it's sitting at 200 millivolt, that's the trigger positioning. It's sitting at 200 millivolt. If I up it just once, there's at 300 millivolts, and there's a decent waveform after all. So the Pico, there's nothing wrong with the Pico at all for to do this type of testing. I'll stick it up one more on the 400 millivolts, and when I'm doing that, all it's doing is moving the trigger up that wee bit on the screen. So that's me offering it up again. So there we go. It was just that I had the trigger positioning too low, that wee bit too low. And that's it at 500 millivolts. So if you have it up that wee bit too high, then the capture stays there. So we'll just knock it down. 300 seems to work best. He says, and it doesn't. Just stick it up again. 400 seems to be the ticket. That's me taking it off, putting it on, and that's on a repeat trigger, and the same settings, the same voltage scale and time base that I had on in the previous video that I had before, but it's just the trigger position. So I hope this helps, and it's all learning. It's all learning. From the more I use this sort of stuff, the more I learn. And what it's all about is, I think, is testing components on known goods and using this equipment. And yeah, by all means, if you buy some of you can buy an automotive mixig, and you can buy a car scope which has all the automotive settings in it, but you still need to know how to work your scope. And these type of tools here, there's no automotive settings for them on it at all, but you get an understanding of how the scope works, and get an understanding of triggers, time bases, and the length of the sample here and stuff like that. So that's how you learn, guys. And there we go. I watch each other guys' YouTube channels. If you look at my videos there, and if you look in the people that I've subscribed to, I think I've subscribed to about 70 channels on YouTube. So I'm learning constantly. No means top of the tree on this sort of stuff, but the more you do, the more you pick up experience, and that's how you get there. So as I say, I hope this helps somebody a wee bit more in the oscilloscopes. You don't need expensive equipment, and for component testing, I don't think anyway. You can go out and buy the automotive Pico at a couple of grand, and that's great. But certainly, if you're in a busy shop or a busy environment, and you're doing cars all the time, it's plug and play, and away you go. And yeah, but this sort of stuff, I think, gives you a far better understanding, and it arms you and really equips you well, so you actually know what you're doing, really. And mistakes like this that I've made, I've learned something. And so many thanks for watching, as ever. And I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks very much, as I said, for all the positive comments and people saying that they like this sort of stuff. So I'll if you ever find anything interesting, I'll be sure to video it. But thanks again for watching again, and all the best. Bye bye.